starting off like the opening scene for this episode is so great. Like to be able to finally get inside of Chloe's head because for a lot of season one, you don't really have any idea what she's thinking. Um, Other than the fact that she just thinks Lucifer's nuts. So to like see that she's actually like taking into consideration everything that's happened and wondering what is so weird about this dude that's just kind of forced his way into her life is awesome to me.
And when the lyrics go like stop, stop, I think it's like Chloe's thinking, oh, why am I thinking of this guy? Just stop, stop, stop. Like
Oh, I absolutely love that. Like I started trying to listen to the music a little bit more and I noticed that like she was just it was kind of just like a onslaught of all these thoughts that she was having and it was kind of I imagine it was rather draining. And then the music is just stop, stop, stop and like her train of thought stops and then Lucifer appears, of course, speak of the devil.
I know it's one of the best openings, and it's I think the only shower scene we get in the whole series. It's such a great scene. It's the whole opening before the big credit like starts. Like it's from the shower to him being in her house. It's the best opening.
Yeah. I think it's amazing. And talking about the shower scene, I don't know if everyone in fandom knows that I'm work with cinema here in Brazil. I'm sound mixer, and one of my first questions when I saw this scene for the first time, it was, how did they how sorry my bad English, but how they did this scene, because the showers the water is literally fall into the lens.
I would imagine with this scene they kind of did it similarly to how like they did that scene in season six where Chloe's about to stab Lucifer. With that scene, they had them up on a platform so they could view it from like below and have shots like pointed up at them. So I would imagine there's a lot of like movable parts to that set, and that she's not actually in a shower. So like when they needed to film in front of her, they would move one part out and film down at her while still having the water. And then when they had to film behind her, they would move that wall back into place.
Yeah, and then I asked to my boss, my um the older boss I have, and he said, "Look, Erica, this is it's inside. It's not really the water going into the lens. The shower is how can I say, it's easy to see the water falling, not falling straight up on the lens. Do you know what I mean? It's easy to see the magic right there. But it's an amazing shoot, and just prove to everyone how amazing that crew is, that team is, very professional persons, and it's amazing. That scene is amazing. I love it.
It's a very good scene. If anybody else wants to talk, I mean, feel free to jump in and just interrupt me. But I mean, moving on to further in the episode, like the players, that whole setup is just so, it's such a great setup. Like I love that they kind of build you up to expect that it's Carter, and then it kind of flips where Carter's like he's changed, and it really reflects Lucifer's plot, and we don't realize that so early on. But after seeing the whole show and really like seeing how how his character arc goes, you realize just how much he can relate to Carter, because in the beginning he's a player. He loves to, you know, not so much use women, but there's not much of a better term for it. But like,
Yeah, and in the end, at the end, he's a good guy.
he is. He does a total 180 because of Chloe. He goes from just wanting to sleep around and party and do drugs to realizing, oh, you can fall in love with somebody and be vulnerable around them. And obviously, like he said, want to have sex with them more than one time and not want to move on.
And the thing with season 4, like, it kind of relates with that quote, like, you're different, he's changed. Does that mean anything to you? Like,
I absolutely loved that line because, yeah, I mean, and coming from, I believe it was Lucifer that said it. I might be wrong though. It's been a very long day. But yeah, like to have it come directly from him, but him not realize the actual weight of what he's saying, it's like such a magical scene because like we know, obviously seeing the whole show, exactly how much Lucifer changes and how much he grows, but in that moment he just doesn't realize how much he is going to relate to that line later on. And Kim, if you want to jump in at any point, I know you take your notes throughout the entire episode. Feel free to jump in and talk. Destiny, Renee, you guys, all of you guys can talk.
I know it's just noisy behind me right now, but no, I wrote literally in my notes. I wrote, what did I say? I literally wrote the look forward, the way the player could develop real feelings. Like I always love the foreshadowing just in that short little scene right there.
I know this is more towards the end of the episode, but I still love Trixie is such a little troublemaker in all of these. Like she's like the number one Decker Star shipper. Like I was saying last episode, I fully believe that she's the one that gave Lucifer Chloe's number. But then in this episode, I just love how she's teasing her mom, like, oh, did you and Lucifer have a sleepover? And then later on, she's like, well, if you shot Lucifer, that must mean you really like him. And I'm like, yes, Trixie, you know. And like Chloe doesn't even deny it. So she obviously has feelings towards Lucifer in this episode, and she's just like not willing to admit it even to herself, but she doesn't even like deny it.
That's one of my favorite lines of all time. If you shot Lucifer, that must mean you really like him. It's so cute.
I like that Chloe initially is like, she tries to like lie and be like, oh, it's just ketchup. And then the minute Trixie calls her out on it, she's like, yeah, you're right. It's blood. I shot Lucifer.
and the exchange between Chloe and Lucifer before going to the seminar were like, I would never, ever, ever had sex with you. I'm thinking, well, in a couple seasons later, you would.
Chloe Decker, the queen of denial.
I know the line where Lucifer's like, this woman won't have sex with me. I'm just like, yet. She won't have sex with you yet.
Well, Lucifer, that would be part of the reason why, because you literally had them shine a spotlight on her and call her out for not wanting to sleep with you. No wonder she doesn't want to sleep with you.
And sometimes I wonder if Chloe from season 1 what somehow witnessed what happened in season 6, or like, how did I end up with this random weird man? I mean, what makes me do that? Like,
Oh yeah, no, I forever wish like that we had a different kind of time loop where we saw, and it would have been really hard for them to do. They would have had to plan it right from the beginning because they would have needed season 1, Chloe and Lucifer, and season 2, or like you just use old scenes and somehow incorporate it. But I wish with everything in me we had seen season 1 Decker Star like see themselves in the future and be like, what is this? Like, I just think it would have been so neat. Or like even have season 6 Decker Star go back and be like, oh, can you like, it's so like Lucifer would absolutely take the piss out on Chloe for how in denial she was.
Yeah, I wrote that I love how this whole episode is about Lucifer wanting to have sex with Chloe, and then by the end, like it goes from being like completely meaningless sex, just like get it out of the way, get it out of their system, to like him genuinely having feelings for her by the end, even though he doesn't know it yet. This episode, it changes from beginning to end. Like somebody had said, it takes what we have known about the show so far and then kind of like turns it.
That's why I was saying I absolutely love that Carter is such a reflection of Lucifer's story arc. And like that early on, you wouldn't realize it, but it's just funny because he goes from this player who, you know, just wants to sleep with girls, just wants, you know, to be a player. And with Carter, it is to use women because he sees them as helpless little sheep. But then it changes to where he falls for this girl And it's just, I just love how it reflects Lucifer's arc.
This episode is so important, and I'm really glad that we actually ended up watching it today on Valentine's Day, because I just think that, like, even though it's not directly romantic, like, it's a really good reflection of their romance from the beginning to the end, I think.
It really is. It's one of the best episodes in season 1, I think. I keep mentioning that I don't like Amenadiel in the earlier seasons, and I really don't, but I absolutely loved the interaction between him and Maze, especially when you can kind of just see where he realizes what desire is, because he goes from wanting to murder Maze to like her like doing her little demon magic on him, and he's like, wait a minute.
I did think her licking his face was gross, though. But yeah.
Yeah, he goes from wanting to murder Maze to like wanting to murder Maze. You feel me?
Yeah. The tongue scene is so funny to me. I love Leslie's tweet about it. Like, it was like last week or something. She's like, I always realized how freakishly long my tongue is in this scene. And I'm like, we love it. It's great. It's a great scene. And I really want to know, like, if they originally like wrote that or if she improvised it.
But yeah, sorry. Going back to the beginning of the episode, I still love, like, I don't know how to word this, but like, this episode is so important, and I love still how it opens with Lucifer seeing Chloe naked, and then she sees him naked. It's just such a good episode.
Like, one
What I
by
like-
accident and one on purpose.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is I really like how, like with Lucifer's scene, it's all about him showing her what he has to offer. Because to him, all he has to offer to her and anybody else is, sex and stuff like that. Because that's all anybody has ever wanted from him. So for him, that's more of a intimate and emotional like scene than he really realizes. But with her, she's not emotionally connected to him yet. So it's kind of just like brief. It doesn't mean anything other than like she's just annoyed with him because he made her drop her towel. And it's just weird. It's not weird. It's funny and really cool how the scenes are kind of like opposite each other.
Oh my God, you're so right. Preach. I never even like realized that. Like, he thinks people are only interested in me for my body. So like, here's my body. Look at it. This is like to get equal with you, and it doesn't.
Kim, I have no idea what's happening with your speaker, but it's a little disordered.
I may have been moving my phone. Is it better now?
And is it kind of like why Chloe kind of rejects him many times? So like, I'm thinking like, if I do have sex with you, you'll be done with me, and like, and as far as the partnership goes, you get like good results with Lucifer around, and like, but that's what Lucifer does with who he sex with. Like, that's what he does. Like once he's done with them, he kind of forget about them like ever. Like.
Sorry, I was adding Kim as a co-host. Yeah, this whole episode is just, it's great. And like I really love I love all of Linda's like therapy sessions with Lucifer, but I just love it here because you really start to see their dynamic come through, where she's talking and she's giving him all this really great advice, and he's just like completely skews it and takes it in the wrong direction.
I would say that'd be a good way for the audience, like, no, don't do what Lucifer does. Like, that's a wrong empathy. Like, no.
Poor Linda's got to have back problems from carrying this entire show for 6 seasons. She pretty much gives therapy to every single one of these people, which I would think at some point would become a conflict of interest, and she shouldn't be like allowed to be their therapist, but she's having the time of her life, so I'm just going to let her have it.
And I think this is the first time Lucifer takes his advice the wrong way. Is it? Like, I feel like this is the first time in the show.
I don't remember if it was last episode, but in one of the first few episodes, he it's like the whole where they're talking about she's like, and that's denial, and he's like, that's a river in Africa. So like they have moments like that where he just kind of basically ignores everything she says and does what he wants to do and just uses her as a means to he twists what she says to support him in what he wants to do, even if it's the wrong thing. But they have a few moments like this. This is just one of my favorites because it really starts to show through their whole dynamic and their friendship building.
I know, I love how he's like, oh, you're right, I have to have sex with her. And then he like flirts with Chloe to the whole like, you need me, you want me thing. And like, he's just completely reading it wrong. And yeah. And I was gonna say also, like, Linda's almost our, like, she's how we're viewing the show. Like, I don't know. She's our eyes into like his life and stuff. I don't know.
I really wish, like, I understand the reason why we didn't, because it's almost like we're supposed to see Chloe from Lucifer's point of view. We don't really understand her. Like, we see obviously her denial and stuff like that, but like as far as her inner workings go, we don't really understand like her mindset or why she does certain things outside of like certain situations. But I wish that they had had earlier episodes of her going to see Linda to try and sit down and talk about like why Lucifer is the way he is and why he. But I feel like there's probably reason for why they didn't do that.
Probably because Linda, when we first meet Linda, she's like a clue to a suspect on the first episode, and that's like the only interaction they had so far. That was just until the later episode that they get to know each other more. But this is not one of those moments yet.
Connecting Chloe to the therapy thing, I know this isn't this episode, but later on when she masquerades as Candy and they go to a different therapist, I absolutely love that whole scene because with Linda, like she gives very in-depth, like personalized analysis, obviously because she knows these people at this point, where this other therapist, like he just seems very technical. He's asking like, well, how long have you been together and why this and why that? And maybe it's because he's a different kind of like he's like a marriage counselor, but it just like it's funny to see how different they are where Linda really wants to know why, like what they're thinking, why they're thinking it, and he's more just like, well, he's just very technical about it.
Yeah, going back to this episode, there are just like so many scenes that are just like iconic and the best like through this whole episode. I still think it's actually like the best, and I think it's my first favorite episode besides the pilot. Like, I can't get over, like, my jaw was on the floor from the beginning with the shower and Lucifer being there and then Dan coming over and then it goes to the therapy and then Lucifer gets the wrong idea and he's like flirting with Chloe, and there was a lot of flirting in this episode. And then like the whole class, and I thought that was just like so funny. And then just the case and everything, like, can we talk about Chloe in that red dress? Like, this episode aired 6 years ago, and that dress is still like, she looks so good in that dress.
That
Yeah,
dress
she looks
is one of
really
my
great.
favorite. Red is like one of my favorite colors on her, and I love that like the you get like the strapless. It's kind of like it's strapped around her neck, but like you can see her shoulders, and I really like that they show like the wound on her shoulder. Her joke about getting an STD from the dress is so funny to me. Oh, go ahead, Destiny.
I'm so sorry because I'm like looking at episode recaps because I'm like, I don't know if I remember this episode. Is this the episode where Lucifer punches that guy in the bar, or is that like way earlier?
I don't
I
think it was
think
this
that's
episode.
later.
Yeah, I think that's later. Like
Oh,
they,
is that later?
I think it's
yeah,
5.
it might be the next episode because I know it's like very soon. I was
'Cause
gonna
when
say,
Mhm.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
when you said red dress right now, I was like, oh, this is not Saint Lucifer, because I actually like Saint Lucifer. Because season 1 is kind of hard for me to watch. I just got like a Facebook memory just the other day that was like, this show's gonna get canceled, better watch it now, right? And that was in 2016, and I was like, what did I know and when did I know it, right? But
Oh,
like,
heard it here first, folks.
I
Destiny's
was
a
gonna
season 1
post
hater.
it. I was gonna post it, like, look at this crazy memory, but Joe Henderson is like, I was like, I don't want him to see that. But anyway, so like, I was trying to figure out what this episode was. What's the basic premise here? While I'm going through
So,
these recaps.
so Chloe and Lucifer, like basically this girl goes missing, and she's not from LA, but they come out to LA, and she goes missing, and then Chloe needs Lucifer to get into like this party that this guy hosts, like that's that whole players club thing.
Oh yes, and then Amenadiel goes cop. That one, right?
I think so. I literally just watched this episode and I don't even remember.
Where he's like, Dan, you know, you look like a cop, and then Dan's like, no, I don't look like a cop, and then Amenadiel makes that weird.
No. It's not. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's not about this episode.
Okay. Oh, that's the girls' night out episode.
No. We're in season 1.
Oh my gosh.
We're in season 1. We're in season 1.
I'm gonna go back to not talking.
No,
It's okay,
come on,
Destiny.
please.
No, it's okay. So
Season 1's really hard for me. Yeah. Okay.
Destiny's a
Sorry.
season 1 hater,
Amenadiel
guys.
had just come down to earth, and he was talking to Maze, saying, "Help me get Lucifer back to hell." That's where we're at with Amenadiel.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Destiny, I'm gonna have to mute your mic. You're just you can't talk about season 1 anymore.
That's totally fair. There's a couple. Sorry, I'm like eating. There's a couple of episodes that I do like, but clearly not enough. So I will definitely go back to just being a listener.
So do you, just out of curiosity, do you not like this episode? Because for me, it's a very, like, it doesn't matter, whatever, like, it's personal preference. But for me, this is a very pivotal point in their relationship.
Well, I mean, the fact that I don't even remember it already tells me everything I need to know. But I think, though, that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't like the episode. I just wish I could remember it, and that's why I'm going through these recaps so I can join in on the conversation here. There's definitely some strong season 1 episodes, but I think they're more towards the end for me. So I don't not like this episode, and I do not like this episode. I guess is what I want to say, right? So carry on, please.
Yeah, this is the episode where they do that whole players club, and then it turns out that the girl is the one that, like, she's in on it with her brother, and then
Oh yes. Okay, yes.
Lucifer like scares her, and Chloe shoots him, and she's like,
Yeah,
"What are you?"
Yeah, because the girl is like, hey, I did actually, you used to know me, right? Like,
Yeah.
she knew the guy. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, my memory's coming back. Thank you. That helped. That
You're
helped a lot.
welcome.
I do like that episode, but I don't like that you see the lady, what is she? He flirts with the lady, the precinct lady. I can't think of the name for them at this time.
Oh,
He flirts
Chloe's
with the
boss?
Yeah, the boss. Yeah, what are they called?
Lieutenant.
Thank you, the
Chief.
You guys are helping me. I'm so stressed.
Olivia.
Thank you.
Olivia is her name. Olivia.
So yeah, you got Olivia, and then you never see Olivia again. So do I like this episode? I don't know.
Don't we see her later on for something?
We
Yeah,
see her
she
one more episode when she officially hires Lucifer to be Chloe's partner.
Yeah. Godo, you wanted to talk a few minutes ago, I think, and everybody kind of talked over you. If you want to say something, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just making fun of Destiny. I'm not even gonna lie. I was just saying you're in season 2, Destiny, when she was talking about the other stuff.
Yeah, Godo was roasting me. That's why I was talking over.
I love how that's what it took to take me out, like to put me out of mute. I'm like, no, I have to call this out. But yeah, no, I like this episode.
Destiny.
Yeah, no, for sure. No. But season 1, it's funny because I kind of agree. Season 1 on rewatch, I don't like it, but this is like one of my favorite episodes of all time, just because I do feel like I agree with you guys saying it's a pivotal moment, I think, with Decker Star. I certainly remember when I first watched this episode thinking, oh, wow, it's serious, huh? Like the whole scar scene, when she like touches it and he doesn't allow her to touch it. I was like, okay, it kind of sparked the interest here. So I'd like to continue watching.
That whole scene just does things to me. Like the fact that he whips around and grabs her wrist is like, the buzz.
Yeah,
that
that's when shit got
whole
serious.
scene. That whole scene when she sees where he cut his wings off and she touches it gently and like asks him like questions and he's being like, it's my father's fault, like, and she's not understanding. Ugh, the whole scene.
And honestly, like, I love that they also started that scene out as comedic. Like, hey, he's naked and he's like right there wanting to like bang you. And then it just turns serious all of a sudden. And it's like, oh shit, this is like real. I'm like, this is actually happening. Like, it just went from lighthearted in one scene and like to something deeper. And it's like, oh, I'm interested and I want to like learn more about this character. I think that was like such an important scene.
Well, what I like about that too is it's such a huge reflection of the episode as a whole. Just like the one dudes are kind of mirroring Lucifer's. It kind of shows that Lucifer is like he makes a joke of how he feels about Chloe because he doesn't understand it and he doesn't really like it at first. So he's just kind of trying to turn it into something humorous and not serious. But then he's starting to realize. And that's why that scene kind of gets deeper as it goes on, because he's starting to realize, like, oh, she's different. Like, there's something different about her. So it kind of gets deeper towards the end of that scene.
Yeah, this whole scene, it's like the whole episode where it starts in one place and then it pivots. So like it starts with the joke of her seeing him naked and like, Chloe, pick your jaw up off the floor, to like being serious and sweet and like gentle.
And that I think this is like the first time Lucifer had someone question about his scars before. I mean, pretty sure like everyone got to see him naked, but didn't like care about the scars on his back. But for Chloe, it's like the first time for him. Like, wait, you question about my back? Like, this is a first.
Chloe's double take in that scene where she looks and then she's like, she gets very breathless and then she just like glances back. I'm like, Chloe, it's fine. You can admit that he's attractive. The world won't end. I mean, it might for her, but I also wanted to mention we haven't mentioned Dan much yet, but Dan like reaches like peak douchiness in this episode because he's like, Chloe, I'm disappointed in you. Dude, you are on the verge of divorce. This woman can bang or not bang whoever she wants. Get over yourself.
Yeah, I know. The way he's like, oh, sorry. The way he's like, finding my wife half naked with this man, like, she's not your wife anymore, dude.
Well, the divorce is not finalized, but later on in the season, they try to get together, but it's not working. But so there's like a little chance they might get together in season 1 kind of thing. So like really you're signed up with this crazy dude.
Yeah, Dan probably sees his like whole marriage dying right there.
Dodo, you can go ahead, and then I want to say something, but I'm going to let you go first.
No, excuse me. There's something that I think it's amazing in the show that in about this episode. It's how Chloe definitely forget about this amazing man in front of her naked, and when she saw her back, she literally forget all the temptation, and she absolutely concerned about what happened to you. It's amazing how Chloe see him in a different way, in a totally different way. you know I think it's amazing. How Chloe can see him and concern about him since the very beginning. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, you can tell they started laying out the seeds from the get-go about her, his him not affecting her. And then, you know, I like that we kind of like learned that as the seasons went on by. I think they laid down the foundation really well, and they just like grew it from there. It's great when you look back on scenes like that, like Erica mentioned, because you can like pick out those points now.
Before we get to the end of the episode, I just want to talk about Chloe's fashion still for a second because I noticed something for the first time. So besides the fact that she like was manhandling that guy in that red dress, after she has on like a black coat or a shirt or something, where did that come from? And was that Lucifer's? Like, where did that come from?
It was from Lucifer because he's not wearing that coat, so he's just giving it to Chloe just to keep her
Yeah, that's
warm.
what I
I
thought when
love
I saw
that.
that scene. Is that it's Lucifer's jacket? She was probably cold or something, and he
I
gave it to
love
her.
that.
It's so sweet. He's such a gentleman.
See, he's like genuinely sweet with her and he doesn't even realize it yet. Like, okay.
See, what I don't understand though is Lucifer is all about sex. Like he doesn't really, like in the beginning, anyways. He doesn't really care about anybody. But the thing is, like, he genuinely cared about Delilah. Like, as from what I was understanding, is he didn't actually sleep with Delilah either. So he definitely had like a deeper connection with her. And I think that that helped him kind of connect with Chloe in a way as well, because he realized that, you know, some people genuinely do want to connect with him beyond just what he can do for them. Which, I mean, Delilah obviously got something out of it, but she obviously saw him beyond that as well. I know it's going back to the whole episode, but
I don't know. I see Lucifer as a good friend. You know, he always watching for people that he concerned about, and he always take care the people he cares about. You know, I think it's Lucifer. It's like a, a very good friend for people that he knows that have issues. You know, Lucifer seems to be attached to people have issues.
yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
when he can actually connect with people, like with Delilah, he connected to her through music. So yeah, you're right. He's a very good friend, and I love that he just doesn't like. I don't love it, but like you get what I'm saying. I like that he doesn't realize that about himself. That even in the beginning, he has very redeemable qualities. He's very kind. He takes care of people that he can connect with. Like Delilah, she didn't he didn't ask her for anything in return other than like take care of yourself, make sure that you're okay. That's all I want from you. And with Chloe, like things obviously are very different with her. Like he tries to protect her. He's very obviously vulnerable around her, giving her his jacket. That's something that you don't really see him do with anybody else. And it's just I think just people he can connect with. He has all these very redeemable qualities, but he just himself is blind to them.
Yeah. I think Lucifer is a very sensitive guy. You know, not even him don't know about him. He don't know himself. He just look at himself as her father, his father eyes. You know, and even him don't know how good man he are. You know, I think season one it's amazing because we don't know anything about him and he don't know anything about him. And we going to figure out, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. I think a lot of his, I mean, this is like you guys said, his turning point. And in the episode with Pierce, no, just kidding. Like just jumping into season 3, not just completely off plot. No, I think the the latter half of season 1 is definitely him kind of waking up to like, okay, I thought I was this one thing and I thought this was the only thing I had to do, but now I'm learning that this isn't the only way to do something. So yeah, you definitely touched on a great point there, Erica. He doesn't know who he is. We don't really know who he is. He knows the general gist of like what humanity thinks of him, right? And we only know like the general gist of like, oh, he likes to party, he likes to have sex, he likes to do drugs, but we don't really know what he's capable of, I think, so yeah.
Which I
Yeah,
think
it's
that
amazing point. It's amazing point, Destiny. It's amazing point. You
He is
think
a child
as
that likes
just
to speak his
I think
mind.
what was that?
He's a child that likes to speak his mind, just like my girlfriend's son. She keeps constantly comparing him to Lucifer.
Which I think this whole thing with like Lucifer like coming to like understand himself, I feel like that ties perfectly into the scene in the car when he asks Chloe like, are you scared of me? And she says no, and he's like being like honest about himself and like realizing like, oh well, if people don't believe that I'm scary, then maybe I'm not.
That's why they also use child safety locks and leave him locked in there.
So another thing I really like about this episode too is like we obviously in season one, Jesus. Nah, I'm turning into Destiny. in episode 1 we
Wild.
see, listen, you've earned it, Destiny. You've earned it. So in episode 1 we see Chloe get shot and you really see Lucifer's vulnerability when it comes to her. Like he falls in love with her in that moment. But he doesn't make that connection. He just like, oh, I'm not gonna let you die. But he doesn't really understand it. He doesn't understand like why he cares so much about her, or even I think even he doesn't even realize exactly that she's different. He's just like, oh, because I think he obviously saw Delilah die and he's like, well, I'm not gonna let the same thing happen to you. But then in this episode, you really just see the change, especially in his expression after she shoots him, the change in the where he shifts and he's like, okay, all right, there's something else going on here. You're more than just somebody who I find interesting that, I obviously don't want to die, but there's something off about you. And whether it's scary or exciting, I'm not really sure yet, but I'm going to dive into it head first.
Like with the final scene of season 4, it like Base is kind of worried, like why are you bleeding? Like are we going home now? And like no, on the contrary, the fun's just begun. And like, oh, I'm going to explore about this vulnerability a bit more. Like, what does it mean? Like,
Yeah, and I really think the vulnerability starts in that car scene where they're being honest with each other. And like I know it's not, but like it looks almost like a first date. Like they're being very flirty and very cute. And the way that she's like, what does it feel like when you get like shot? And he just flicks her. Like I think that was like really the beginning right there.
Oh my
I
gosh, I
love
actually love
that.
that you brought up the car scene because I was about to bring up the car scene. I joined the podcast a little later, so I don't know if you guys had already gone over it. But I wanted to also point out, like, I love that conversation so much where he starts asking her about religion and her religious views and, if he scares her. Because I think it's like one of the earlier scenes where they have like an actual deep and like serious conversation. It's playful, it's nice. And yeah, that's what maybe he kind of opened himself up a little bit. And that's probably what led to him being, vulnerable actually around her now.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. Like the whole car scene is so great because it really starts to show that they're connecting and like they're bonding, because you go from Chloe just not wanting anything to do with him. She's like, I wish you would just go away and stop interfering with my job and stop interfering with my life. And in that scene, it really shifts to where they're being playful with each other and they're joking and they're having these deeper conversations, and it kind of continues on through the rest of the episode too. Like after she shoots him and he's like, well, now that you've crippled me, and she's just like, you're a wuss. Like I love how there's that pivotal shift in their relationship where it goes from her not wanting anything to do with him to like, okay, like you're tolerable, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm sorry, but like the flirting in that scene and then like the whole end of the episode, like that I like died at all the flirting, just all the flirting.
My favorite part was, "I'm sorry, darling, there's something wrong." Where he is standing there naked and like, "The berries are ripe, they're ready for harvesting."
I'm sorry, darling. Are you feeling quite well, or something like that? Are you feeling well?
Yeah.
I love it because like somebody doesn't want him for once, and he assumes that they're sick.
It just kills me.
The only explanation for not wanting Lucifer Morningstar is that you're not feeling well, which I mean, I agree with that statement.
Yes, yes, yes. Just yes, yes, yes to all of that.
Destiny, I know we've been teasing you, but you are allowed to speak. As long as you speak what's relevant to this episode and not try and jump to season 5, ma'am.
Well, see, here's the thing. You guys were roasting me so bad. I was actually going to chime in and said the only car conversation I like is the one they have in season 4 where Lucifer is asleep. But see, y'all was raggedy, so I don't want to say nothing to any of you
Destiny.
at all. I don't want to say shit. I don't. Is everybody like old enough to hear curse words?
Yes, Destiny.
Yeah,
So that's where I'm at. So y'all
But
just
no,
go ahead and talk y'all stuff. I'm gonna be right
you're right
here.
though. You're right though, because
So.
like the whole time I was watching that scene, I was being reminded of, was that the scene where he's asleep and she's like, I'm happy for you, but I'm not happy for you. And then like the other car scene where she like asks him, "Do you like work?" And he's like, "Yeah, I like work." Like just all the car scenes.
Their
And this was
car
the first
scenes are
one.
so good.
Yeah. So that's
It's
all I gotta say.
Sorry to interrupt. It's a shame that they never had a kiss car scene. A
Ah,
makeup,
yes.
a makeup car
Make
scene.
out, stake out.
Make out.
Yes.
Make out car scene. It's a shame.
You know what I would have loved at this episode is I like obviously I like their first kiss. I absolutely love it. I think it's well timed. Although eventually I get very, very exhausted of the will they, won't they kind of thing. I kind of wish they had something kind of like that in this scene. Like obviously they already have a lot of very deep emotional scenes, and maybe not even so much of a kiss, but like maybe just like him wrapping his arm around her or just something like that. Like a very intimate moment between them would have been nice.
And I got like one thing I kind of wondering, like I'm pretty sure you guys might have wondered at some point, but like back to when Chloe shoots Lucifer, what happens if he actually doesn't bleed when he got shot? Like, what do you think happened after that? Like, just out of curiosity.
Yeah,
I
wrote
lost a
that.
lot of the
I wrote
plot.
that down because I was like, I think if he hadn't had bled, she would have believed that he was the devil. I literally wrote that. If he didn't bleed, she might have believed he was the devil.
Well, yeah, because we have that whole scene where she's, oh, Chloe Decker, I want to smack you sometimes. I love you, but oh my God, she's so in denial. Like, she goes and she sees his face and she's like, oh my God, what are you? Who are you? I'm like, Chloe, honey, he's been telling you since you met. He's the devil. And then, yeah, if he hadn't bled, I think she definitely would have believed him. But then he started bleeding and she's like, oh no, of course, I'm an idiot for even beginning to believe you. I also wanted to mention something too, like because we're getting more and more people in these chats, it might be easier to kind of do like a raise your hand to speak thing. So like there's in the little bottom bar, there's like a heart with a plus sign. I'll do it too to make things easier. But if you guys want to just hit that when you want to speak, I can call on people one at a time. It just makes it easier to let everybody get a word in without us talking over each other. Especially because I hope to eventually have this be a big thing. Kim, go ahead.
Sorry. No, literally jumping off what you were saying. So when she asks, "What are you?" I literally wrote, "Bitch, I've been telling you I'm the devil." Like, how could she? She just doesn't want to believe it. Even though she saw his face again tonight, she doesn't want to believe it.
Erica, go ahead.
I think if she if Lucifer doesn't blood in the shot, it will be the end of the series. At the end of the show, because we need that. We need this because if it don't bleed, Chloe will figure out that Lucifer is not in this world. He's not a human being, you know. So if it doesn't bleed, it will be the end of the show at a time.
Oh no, I totally agree with that. And that's what I was saying earlier is we would have lost the entire plot. If he hadn't bled here and they hadn't like realized so early on that she made him vulnerable, there's just so many things that wouldn't have happened and the storyline would have gone a completely different direction. So I really like that very early on they have that. And I love that it, like, this is totally off topic, but I love that how many writers in this fandom incorporate that into fan fiction in so many different ways too, like whether he gets stabbed or he cuts his hand or he gets shot. Like, I just love that that's such a pivotal scene to all of us that we incorporate it in art and writing, and it's just, I love it. I'm in love with it. Godo, go ahead.
I was just gonna add to that. I like that they took the route of making him vulnerable because I think it makes the story kind of more relatable, and it gives like Lucifer this whole discovering humanity aspect, like weakness. I think it would have been very different had he been like super powerful the entire time. I know you mentioned that you got tired of the will they won't they and Chloe knowing and not knowing. That's why I feel like I got a little bit tired of season 3 because it was like too much. But I think it was smart to like wait and wait it off and not like start immediately because I think it had more interesting storytelling in my opinion. And I like the direction it went.
See, I'm on like it's like a double-edged sword for me because like with Bones, I absolutely love when seasons have a lot of episodes, but season 3 for me is just, it drags, and not because I don't like the episodes. I love season 3. I hate Pierce, which is the point. I like him as a villain. I hate him as a person. Like, I wish he would have just poofed out of existence a little sooner because he's such a huge part of the reason that it drags. I'm like, can somebody just kill this man already? Because I'm tired of seeing his stupid face.
Oh no,
Kodo, you're fine. Go ahead.
No, I did it. I did the hand thing. Sorry. Okay. No, I was gonna say, I agree with you, and I think that's like I said, it's not the season 3. I love season 3. It has such great episodes, probably some of my favorite of all time. But I think it's the length that obviously didn't do it justice because every time they would take 2 steps forward, they would take 5 steps back, and I just hate that. It's not good for storytelling, and it kind of like insults our intelligence a bit there because it's like, Chloe, girl, like last episode this happened, and then in the next episode it's like you forgot. And I don't like that type of storytelling in my opinion. I think that's why it falls short for me. But I love how we're talking about another season that's not season 1 also.
Yeah. How about that?
Destiny, shush. Okay. Kim, go ahead, and then when Kim finishes, Renee can go.
It's okay, Destiny. No, I totally agree. Like season 3, it was like 3 steps forward and 3 steps back, and it didn't really go anywhere. Whereas this episode tonight, like it moved and it moved quickly, and like a lot of things happened, and yeah.
So like the thing with Chloe, it's like with the if anyone's an atheist like out there, be like really the devil like she needs like concrete proof. That's the thing about her her as a detective. Like she needs concrete and like sort.
No, I totally agree. And also, like, if you see somebody like raising their hand, please don't feel rushed to like finish up what you're saying. Like, talk and say what you want to say. But I know, I agree. I agree with Chloe needing concrete proof. I think the thing that frustrates me so much, and we're not going to talk about season 3 because we're not Destiny. We're going to stick with season 1 at least. We're just gonna rag on Destiny this entire thing. It's fine. We love you, Destiny. You better get your stuff together soon because hopefully we're hoping eventually to have the writers join us. And if you are off in a different dimension, we're gonna have some problems. I don't even know what I was gonna talk about. I just wanted to rag on Destiny some more. Kim, then Destiny.
I literally raised my hand to say stop bullying Destiny. We are going all over, and it's okay.
This is wild. I am getting cyberbullied in real time. I do not appreciate it. I need to call, I don't even know who's in charge of cyberbullying. I need to call my therapist. What is happening on these streets? Actually, there's an article coming out from Netflix about the Lucifer kiss, and of course I did that for season 2. So you're welcome. Talking about other seasons, but you were going to mention season 3 for some godforsaken reason. In regards to, I don't know, what were you talking about?
I don't even remember.
I think this is a pivotal point for their relationship. Yes, I think it's even more important that this episode happened, and then he kept the bullet. You know what I mean? That, and then it shows up in season 3. So that means, behind the scenes, this was a pivotal moment for him, for sure. I'm gonna go back to cleaning my teeth and listening.
Erica, go ahead.
No, I'm laughing a lot with you girls. Amazing. I just want to see what's going on with this account when season 3 comes arrive, because season 3 is a very difficult season to watch. Not everyone likes it. The entire season. I love season 3. I love. But I have my issues with season 3, like everyone else. But when this account comes to season 3, I think it's gonna be wild, because season 3, it's a huge season. It's longer, and we have lots of issues on season 3. Lots of issues about season 3, and I agree with most of the issues the fans have. But I love season 3.
This is now officially a Destiny bullying account, because one more time I'm going to say, Destiny, whatever you've got, it's contagious, because we are off track. But yeah, season 3 is going to be very difficult for us. But jumping back to this episode, because it's what we're here for, guys. Come on now. We got to keep each other on track. Kim, I didn't call on you yet. You raised your hand again, ma'am. I forgot what I was going to say. I blame you, Kimberly. Go ahead.
Stop bullying Destiny. I love her. She's fine. But yes, let's bring it back to the episode that we watched tonight. Okay, I just want to quickly say, in the episode that we watched tonight, I always feel bad for Carver, because he genuinely had feelings for Lindsay, who kidnapped herself and then shot him. I feel bad for him because he loved her.
Oh my gosh, no, yes, I feel terrible for Carver. Like that whole thing, especially because she's the one that shoots him. And the fact that he's still trying after she shoots him to be like, I'm so sorry, like, I love you, I want to be with you. And she's just like, no, you need to die. It's just so sad to me. Like, this guy was really trying to redeem himself and had it thrown in his face. And I really hope he's doing good now. I hope he found a wife and, he's doing well. I like you, Carver. You're a good guy. Oh, I need to call
something. I just realized something. Please let me talk. I just realized something. So Lindsay shoots Carver, right? Chloe shoots Lucifer, and Lucifer takes the same journey to love that Carver does. Oh my god, my mind's just blown right now. I'm sorry.
Erica, go ahead.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm here. Okay, I got it. About Carvin, I don't feel so sad because of him. He make demands. He make full of demands, and he ended up falling in her own I don't know what can I say that he makes money, make the man's fool, make the man fool, and he ended up falling in love for the girl. So his method is just it's just a shame. So just because of this, I don't feel so bad for him. But it's amazing to see he fall in love for the girl. But I'm not feel so bad about him. Not.
Well, in that same aspect, I mean, do you not feel bad for Lucifer? And like that's it's not me being like mean or anything to you. I'm genuinely curious, like because it's the same. It's relating back to what Kim said. It's the same journey. They have the same journey where Lucifer is very he's an asshole in the beginning. I'm sorry. Like I love him to bits. I love my Lucifer throughout all the seasons, but he he's the same way. He's a player and he doesn't care about other people's feelings in that kind of aspect. Like he thinks that nothing can touch him, and that's how Carver is. But then Carver learns from that, and even in this episode where he's going on and on about how men are, superior and they need to be protectors and they need to be the wolves, he even admits later on that it's just a show because he realized when he, 4 months ago when he got with Lindsay, that she was changing him and that he wanted to change for her. He felt that connection to her and he didn't feel the need, and he only continued doing this because it made him money. He didn't actually believe any of what he was saying. Kim, go ahead.
This is quite the debate because I agree with both of you. I agree with Erica that, so in Carter's case, like he had dated Lindsay, just lost her, she had sex with him, lost her virginity to him, and then he like forgot about her, didn't even know her, used her as like a play in his playbook, like treated her basically like garbage, like that. So in that case, like he does deserve to be punished, but then also like now he has genuine feelings for this girl that he knows now. So it's like I feel bad for him now, but he also kind of deserves it. So it's both are right.
Renee, go ahead.
So it's kind of like kind of using it, like there's no emotions like in the sex, like same for kind of same thing for Lucifer, like he like he's pretty much using men and women and men just for pleasure, but there was no emotion behind of what sex he's doing, and I think Chloe knows that like he's just gonna use me, and like what's the point? I'm not gonna go with this guy.
Well, and relating like back to the character arc similarities. My goodness, I can't talk between Carter and Lucifer. Um, you really see that, like, yes, Carter messed up, Lucifer messed up, but he does he. Oh my God, my tongue is not cooperating. He does deserve redemption, and yeah, he doesn't deserve to be murdered. He may be like a raging case of crabs, like Lucifer said, but that's it. Like nothing beyond that. Whereas Lucifer, at the same time, yeah, maybe he deserves some form of punishment for trying to take over heaven, and maybe he deserves some kind of punishment for how he treats some people, but he doesn't deserve to have his wings cut off, and he doesn't deserve to punish himself. He doesn't deserve to, be cast out of heaven and rejected by his family. He deserves to be loved and cared for regardless of his failings and shortcomings. And I love that we show more of that throughout the seasons. And I love that he learns that eventually too, that he is worthy of good things. Destiny, go ahead.
I think it's a little nuanced in that case, because Carver, yeah, like he did try to make amends and stuff, but it's not entirely his fault, because I feel like if that happened to me, like, sometimes you can have a relationship that doesn't work out at first, right? And then like years later or whatever, you guys grow apart or whatever, go on your separate paths, and you can come together. Like that makes sense to me. But it's kind of like, all right, girl, like you didn't tell him. Like if the same dude was like, came up to me and was like, hey girl, like what's up? And I'm like, hey girl, like you know me. You know what I mean? So it's like it's hard to imagine like why wouldn't she say something? I mean, obviously to exact revenge on him. So I don't think he should have been shot. But I'm like, you know what, girl? Like some men don't deserve rights, and he might be one of them. You know what I mean? So I think that's where I am with him. Like he doesn't deserve to be shot, but he definitely is not a good guy at all. So I hope like he's good now, but I hope he's also stepped on some Legos or something. And then to compare him to Lucifer, where do I want to say with that? Lucifer is childish. Lucifer I'm probably gonna have to think on that a little bit more. I feel like to compare him to Carver isn't exactly fair, but I see like the threads there. But Lucifer eventually has some cognizance of what he's doing, but he just doesn't know how to like stop the pattern, I guess. Anyway.
Well, and I think that's done intentionally, if we're being honest. I feel like I've called him Carter at some point during this, and I want you all to know I know his name is Carver, okay? Um, so I think it's done intentionally because Lucifer is always very over the top about everything. So if you really look at it, like we see that Lucifer is a player and all that, but he's also very much about, like, he respects women. Carver in the beginning does not. He doesn't respect women. He sees them as something less than and something to be won or claimed, like trophies. But he changes, obviously, and I think he really does deserve redemption. But Lucifer, like Carver, is an over exaggeration of Lucifer, and I think it's done intentionally because of how Lucifer is. He over exaggerates everything he does. So while there's threads there that connect them and their story arcs are very similar, they're also very different because Carver almost outdoes everything that Lucifer does. He doesn't respect women. He doesn't. And like, yeah, where Destiny was saying, like, she should have told him. I think that what they did was intentional. I think when they came out to LA and she met him and they slept together, it was a revenge plot. But I also think they're like, okay, we're out of money. This man has money and we're connected to him. So they go out with this plan and they're like, okay, we are going to use him and use what how we know he feels about you to get what we need. And so I don't think that, aside from their first hookup, I don't think Lindsay ever really had feelings for him or cared for him. I think it was just down to what she can get out of him, which again connects back to Lucifer. I am on a freaking roll today, guys. It connects back to Lucifer because that's how everybody sees Lucifer, is what can I get out of you? What can I take from you, or what can you give me or do for me? Okay, so I think Erica raised her hand first, so Erica and then Kim go.
Thank you. What I have to say is, Lucifer. Lucifer knows he is smarter than Carter. Yeah, he's smarter than Carter. But there's something that he don't know. He's learning from Carter. In season 1, Lucifer is learning all the time, and he don't recognize this. You know, he knows he's smarter than Carter, but he can recognize that he is learning from Carter, learning things not to do. You know, um, human behavior. He is always learning. He's always learning.
This whole conversation is great. I love it. I agree with like everything that's basically been said. I think Carter deserves to be punished, however, more like the clap or chlamydia or crabs, not shot and killed. And then Lindsay like deserves to be punished for tricking this man into like giving his money to her, and then for trying to kill him. Like they both deserve to be punished, but maybe not killed.
I raised my hand first, but it didn't show up, so I'm just gonna go ahead and talk. So yeah, like I think honestly, because I think that also relates back to Lucifer, because in the beginning, Lucifer doesn't have any regard for human life. He doesn't have any regard for humanity outside of Chloe, of course, and Delilah in the beginning. He just sees them as disposable, which Amenadiel is the same way. He just sees them, they're less than them. So to the point where it's like, okay, Lindsay deserves punish. And then, dude from the first episode whose name I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know why it's slipping my mind, but the one that was like bashing his face against the glass. Like they all deserved punishment in some way, shape, or form. But the question is, how far would Lucifer go with that? Now, obviously, he didn't kill the first dude, but like, how far would he have gone with Lindsay? Because Lindsay, I think he saw himself in Carver as well, because he almost takes personal offense to Lindsay's behavior towards Carver. He's like, oh, well, he's trying to redeem himself, which is exactly what Lucifer's doing. He came to LA to redeem himself. And he's like, he's trying to redeem himself, and you just threw it back in his face. Like, how dare you? How could you do that to somebody? So I think I want to know how far Lucifer would have gone with it, because obviously throughout the show, you see Lucifer very much manhandle men and like throw them through windows and stuff like that, but he never really does that with any of the women that are in this, which is, you know, obviously I believe intentional. But I want to know is how far he would have taken that. Would have he just scared her? Would he have like threatened her? Would he have eventually physically harmed her because of how she was with Carver? I just want to know what Lucifer's like hard limits are when it comes to punishing, because obviously down in hell it's torture. Like they torture people and they kill people over and over again. So what are his limits when it comes to people? Renee, go ahead.
So what I would think with what you're saying is if Chloe, I think if Chloe wasn't there, Lucifer would probably scared Lindsay to death or crippled her in some way. Because I'm thinking back to season 4, when he got Julian, he pretty much damaged him like mentally and physically. So if Chloe wasn't there, that would probably the same kind of damage to Lindsay. Like, so Chloe is like a guardian angel just to step him down, just to calm him down. Like, that would probably seem to Joe on the previous episode as well. Like, he was about to injure him more if Chloe hadn't stopped him.
Yeah, no, I actually realized that tonight when we were watching is that like kind of parallel where he threatens to break the one dude's back in this episode, and then later on he goes through with that threat with somebody else, with Julian, I think he said his name is, I can't remember now, but it's a parallel to that episode, and Chloe is there to stop him. So yeah, you're right. When Chloe's not there, Lucifer doesn't have those hard limits for himself, and he went through with his threat. So it's really nice to see, even in the beginning, just how much Chloe's like, and he always says that Chloe is pure good and she's pure light. And I think we see that even early on, that she is just a very good person, because her light kind of outshines the evil, so to speak. He's not evil, but the devil in him. And he's like, oh, okay, you know, I realize now that I'm overreacting, and he steps back because she asks him to. Anybody else can go ahead.
I'm just thinking about the influence that she has over him from the very, very, very beginning. I forget which episode it was, but there was one where, it was literally last week, where he throws the guy through the wall, and then she's like, Lucifer, calm down, and he does. Like, she has a very big influence over him.
Yeah, and I wanted to relate that too. Is like Chloe's influence over Lucifer is just top tier, and like I mentioned this last week too, but that episode later on where he's got Eve on one side and Chloe on one side, and this, I think that's season 3 or 4. When does Eve show up? I don't know. I don't remember. But so like it's very much like the devil and the angel on his shoulder, and while Eve was very much pushing Lucifer to follow his devil instincts and be bad and be evil, that's not what Lucifer is. And even when he's mad at Chloe and he almost despises her and he's angry and bitter and he wants to rebel again, she still has a power over him that nothing can touch. Not even Eve can take that away. And I absolutely love that. It's chef's kiss. It's perfect. Kimberly, go ahead.
And then going back to tonight's episode, because we haven't really talked about it yet. Maybe we talked about it, but we haven't. Like, how it ends with her shooting him, and like, I know you say that he fell in love with her in episode 1. For me, it's in episode 4 when she shoots him and he bleeds. That's the moment that he falls in love with her. And how can a scene where somebody shoots somebody give me all the feels? Like, how is that possible? Go ahead.
I was waiting for you to finish talking. Excuse my manners. Jeez. All right. No, the reason I say that he fell in love with her is because it's canon, and like whatever you feel is fine. Like I don't care. However you feel, but like it's because it's canon. Like I don't remember who mentioned it, but I think it was Joe that said that in the moment that Chloe gets shot, Lucifer realizes that, you know, he doesn't realize that he's in love with her, but that's the moment he does fall in love with her. But then, yeah, I agree with you. Later on in this episode, I don't think it's so much he falls in love with her in this episode like he did. He obviously did in episode 1. I think this is more where his emotional vulnerability becomes evident because he falls in love with her, but then as time goes on, it kind of grows and spirals. So it manifests itself, and he self-actualizes himself to not only be emotionally vulnerable around her, but physically as well. Go ahead.
Okay. I hadn't heard what Joe had said. The reason that I say it's this scene is because that's how I interpreted the opening of 6x02, where he's like, if I had known like my vulnerabilities and stuff, and for me, so it started here, but that's how I interpret it.
I didn't raise my hand. I don't care. Nobody else was talking. So, but yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Like in the aspect that, like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, your feelings are not valid. No, I totally respect how you feel it, and that's fine. I just choose to follow the canon part, or where what Joe had said, where episode 1 is where he fell in love with her, which is like it's fine. But I definitely agree in the aspect that he becomes vulnerable here, and like I said, I think it's a snowball effect because she gets shot and something shifts, and then the more interactions they have, like he becomes emotionally vulnerable in that first episode, and then in this episode he self-actualizes it to be, without knowing, because obviously they don't know self-actualization is a thing yet, but he self-actualizes into it being a physical vulnerability. And like, I'm gonna BRB real quick because I have a roast in and I don't want it to overcook, so if you guys could just like talk amongst yourselves for a bit. Kim, you can like call on people. Kim, and then Erica, go.
You can go ahead, Erica.
No. I have just something to say. People. Lucifer had fallen in love with Chloe exactly in the moment he fell in love with her. The exact moment he looked into her eyes. That's all. That's all. He fell in love with her the exact moment he looked into her eyes. That's it. That's all I'm talking about. It.
I am here for that.
No doubt.
No, really.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
No, really, I'm here for that. And then how it ends with I still think it's really funny how he tries to like flirt with Chloe's boss, who ends up in I think the next episode hiring him to be officially Chloe's partner. How he's like flirting with her, and then Chloe's just like, her face looks like she wants to throw up at the idea of her boss and Lucifer. No. Anybody else have anything else they want to say?
Whoa! I'm sorry. I lost your thing. Can you repeat, please?
Oh, it's okay. I was just saying how it's funny in the very end of the episode, Lucifer was flirting with Chloe's boss, and then Chloe's boss ends up hiring Lucifer to be Chloe's official partner in the next episode, I think.
Oh yeah. I think it's amazing. We just like the Chloe's boss. We just like the Chloe's boss. Every one of us would fall in love for him.
100%. So I mean,
100%.
I think I'm talking and not realizing my mic is on, and I'm sorry for that. But no, what is everybody's favorite episode? What is everybody's favorite scene in this episode? Because there are at least half a dozen that are like very memorable and that people will use in like their videos and in their fanfics. And this episode is like iconic for that. Renee, go ahead.
I think I would go for between Chloe and Lucifer's interaction out on the street before they went to place. I would highlight that scene mostly because of how iconic for when Chloe really say like never ever sleep with you, like never, but later on in the show they reference that, so it's like, oh, like, oh yeah, I did say that. You think you're really funny? Like, yup.
Yeah, the when the hell freezes over line, and then when they actually do have sex, he's like, "Are your feet cold?" No, why? She said that you wouldn't have sex with me until hell freezes over. And then also like people will talk about how, like, what if Rory had gone back to season 1 and like met Chloe at that point? What would her reaction have been? Go ahead, Erica.
Oh my God, poor Chloe. She was so wrong. She was so wrong. And the first time I saw that scene, I was thinking, oh my gosh, no, no, girl, no, don't tell that.
That is too funny. I think I don't know. Okay, this is gonna come off completely random, but people like to say like, um, Chloe, your Lauren is showing when Chloe's like having fun and dancing and stuff. And like, I really like the part when they first go to Carver's class and they're playing Eye of the Tiger and Chloe is like dancing. I think that's so funny. Go ahead, Renee.
Because Lucifer mentioned like how what kind of music Chloe likes back in, at season 2. And I think in this episode, it kind of like an early hint of what kind of music Chloe likes by her dancing with Eye of the Tiger. So it's like a good early hint of that.
Yeah, he makes her a 90s hits playlist. And that's I think that was in episode season 4 when he like invites her over and he's like, I made you this playlist, and he plays it really loudly and then it scares her and she knocks over the poison.
We don't talk about that episode.
I will talk about every episode.
I'm literally just eating roast right now, but I had to jump in and be like, no, we're not. We're going to skip that episode because it hurts my heart.
It's fine. It's okay. You eat your roast and you can talk with us. I don't mind if you're eating. Anybody have anything else that they want to say about this episode? No. Okay. Oh, and then I just wanted to add, I think I also wrote in my notes how at the end, Chloe's like, let's get you out of here. And she like loops her arm around Lucifer's arm and like walks him away from the scene of the crime. I like really like that part too. Go ahead.
Well, I mentioned earlier that I wish they'd had a scene like that, and nobody felt the need to correct me that they did. Okay, I see how it is, guys. We're all gonna tag team on Destiny, but you guys can't just jump in and be like, but they had this.
I wanted to say that, but it was really crowded and loud, and so I didn't get a chance.
See, my system works. You got to raise your hand to talk, which I haven't done in like 5 turns, but it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. We're having fun here. I don't want to end this right now, but I just want to say thank you to you guys for hanging out with us and spending Valentine's Day with us and watching this episode with us, because I had a lot of fun and I needed this tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, girls. I would like to thank you, all of you girls. It was an amazing chat, and it's my first time doing this, so I'm sorry my bad English, but I'm keep learning. I keep learning, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
Cam and then Renee.
Yeah, like in real life I don't get to talk to about Lucifer with most of the people I know, so it's great for get to talk to people about Lucifer. It feels much better. Like, I'm glad I got someone to talk, like some people to talk to about Lucifer.
Erica, your English is amazing. Don't worry about it at all. And Renee, thank you for hanging out with us. Seriously, I hope we see you back here at some time.
It's amazing. Yeah, I'll be always here, always here. And like our friend said, it's amazing. Have two people to talk about Lucifer, our comfort show. It's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna jump in with this. Like, this fandom is something else because I've mentioned it a few times now. Hang on, let me go back to a room that is not going to wake my child. If I'm talking, just give me 1 minute. Okay, I can talk now. I don't want to wake the baby up. So this fandom though, like I've never seen a show trend so much, but not even that. Like just going through my timeline on the daily, I haven't been on Twitter much lately, but every time I get on, there's fans that are reaching out for like emotional support or, you know, prayers or thoughts or whatever. And this fandom is just amazing with each other. I've never seen such a big family in a fandom. And I really just love how like, season 6 dropped months ago and yet we're all here every Monday and I appreciate you guys so much for like being here and talking with us. But the fact that like even though the show ended and like we could be moving on with our lives and watching other shows and maybe some of us are like we can come back to this and we're still noticing new things and having just as much excitement about the show as we did when it first came out, and it's nice. I'm gonna stop like getting all emotional and sappy on you guys, but it's really nice. Kim, go ahead. I saw your mic go off.
No,
If you're talking, I can't hear you. Whether it's my phone or you, I don't know.
say that again. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just saying in the lyrics of Taylor Swift, like, I stayed here. Everybody moved on, but I stayed here, and I will be here every Monday until we have gone through the series again.
And then we just start over. It's fine. We'll just keep doing it. Which honestly, sorry, Destiny, I'll let you talk in just a minute, I promise. But like I genuinely like by the time we reach the end of this, it's gonna be like we timed it out. It's gonna be like 2 years from now by the time we finish with all 6 seasons. Um, so we can just jump right back to the beginning and we can keep doing this and we can keep talking about it and like I really want to get to the point where we do like fan art competitions and like whoever wins gets a prize and just I want to make this a space where fans can come back and visit and like interact with each other. We can share fan art and fan fiction and make this like a big hub essentially for the fandom, and that's our goal with this. And I mean 2 years from now, who knows where we're all going to be, but I hope that all of you decide to keep coming back and doing this silly little rewatch stuff with us because we were really really enjoying it. And like Kim said, we both really needed this today, so to be able to get on here and just talk with you guys about this show and interact is it's been great. All right, go ahead, somebody else talk.
Destiny, didn't you have something to say? Go ahead if you do.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I thought it was funny that you brought up like Taylor Swift lyrics. Like just the other day, I was like, I what did she say? Oh my god, I can't believe I just forgot it. I said it the other day too. I was like, I never could leave well enough alone or whatever. Right? Her little lyric from the one. Anyway, it was not important, which is why I turned my mic off.
I'm okay. While everybody is talking, I'm sorry. I was going through just like all of my favorite lines from the episode because that's one of my favorite things to do. Does anybody have a particular favorite line from this episode? Because I wrote like 4 pages. I'm not even kidding.
I'm not going to get it word for word if I try and do it off the top of my head, so I'm going to go back to where I live tweeted it. But like one of the lines is definitely, "Do I scare you?" No. Like, come on. Like that's you guys just met and you're having moments like this. Like, stop it. Both of you just stop. And then what was she wearing when she left? A smile. That reminds me so much of the detective. Hi, or the "why didn't you call me" scenes. And then the if you weren't so pent up sexually, we'd be firing all cylinders, I'd say.
Erica and then Renee.
Oh, okay, excuse me. My favorite is obviously the Chloe's lines about the dress, and plus, she's saying, about the STDs. I love it. Chloe is amazing. Chloe's Chloe's Chloe. I love it.
And I think like a lot of what Lucifer is saying, even through the whole morning scene at the beginning of the episode, really cracked me up a bit. Especially with like are you sleeping with this dude? And like he did not have the pleasure, unfortunately, no. And when later on like what in God's name are you doing here? Like nothing is. I'm here on my own actually. And um I haven't been thrown out in anything in my life. Well, except for heaven, of course.
There's a few more lines too that I love. Like obviously Chloe's iconic. I will never ever sleep with you, never, and like that whole conversation. But then the whole exchange where she's like, I just need you. He's like, you need me, and they just go on that whole spiel there is so funny because he does the same thing he's doing what he does with Linda, where he doesn't let them complete a thought. He just kind of finishes it the way he wants to hear it, which is really funny to me. And then his little spot where like that security guard walks away and he's just like, off you pop, is so funny to me. I love that.
I was going back through them. I think for me, it'd be this one. I'm getting it wrong, but when they're they're in the car and he's eating the Cool Ranch puffs, and he's like, "You'd think for the king of hell, I'd be a flaming hot guy," but I thought that was funny.
Isn't that the first time that Cool Ranch Puffs are mentioned? And you know what? Like, I get they did it because they didn't want to like get sued by mentioning, oh, he likes Doritos or he likes this. But I really wish that they made Cool Ranch Puffs a thing because I bet they're amazing, and I just want to try them. But it's so funny to me that that's the first time they're mentioned, and like then it just moves on to being this like running gag in the show.
Or also the part where Chloe's like, "So you don't have a tail or horns," and then he's like, "Just no," or like it's a thing of TV or fiction. I think that part's funny.
You know what? I was just looking, and like I know last week and the week before we struggled with those episodes because there just wasn't much to build off of. But you can tell how much the fandom loves this episode because we've been going for an hour and a half. Go ahead, Erica.
I have a lots of good lines in this episode, but there's another one that I love so much. It's when Lucifer says to Carver, she's the fluffy bunny and you're the wolf. So it's just like, what happened to you, man? you know, it's amazing. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Renee, you can go ahead.
Okay, and there's some lines from Lucifer, like kind of throwbacks to him later on in the show, like you sleep with her and you never go tired. Like, how's that possible? Or this love thing makes you do stupid things, does it? And I'm thinking, well, in the future, Lucifer, these things you're gonna do these stupid things, like.
You know what I love, I think, most about this episode is that the entire premise of the players thing is, oh, women are soft, fluffy bunnies, and we're the wolves, and we need to take what we want. But and like women are vulnerable, and we need to be the protectors. But in this episode, it's the other way around. Like Lucifer is the fluffy bunny. He's vulnerable, and he's he's all these things, and then Chloe is in a sense his protector, or like she's the wolf and he's the bunny. Go ahead, Kim.
Yeah, women are the fluffy bunnies and men are the wolves. Meanwhile, Chloe's the detective and Lindsay is like tricking Carver and shoots him.
Sorry, Kim. I was just gonna say, I mean, I don't know how much more you guys want to do tonight. If there's more to talk about, like by all means. But I don't know like how many of you are gonna want to go. Like for me it's 10:33. I don't know what time it is for Kim or any of you guys, but oh no, Destiny disappeared. I think we scared her away with all of our teasing. But no, I mean, if you guys want to wrap up for the night, if you want to talk more, it's totally up to you. I just know we've been going for quite a while, and I'm sure the people that want come back to this probably don't want to sit and listen to us ramble for 2.5 hours. But if there is more to be said, I mean, by all means. But I figured we might want to wrap up soon.
No, I'm good for tonight. Again, seriously, thank you everybody for hanging out with us, talking with us, having fun with us. I look forward to this every Monday, and I look forward to all the trivia during the week and everything. So thank you for hanging out with us. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you, girls. One more time, I would like to thank you, girls, for doing this. It's been amazing. It means a lot. It means a lot for me, a Brazilian lady that been following the show for so much time. It's amazing. It's amazing. Thank you, girls, for doing this. It's very funny and amazing.
Thank you,
Yeah,
and you're very welcome.
Yeah, sorry, Kim. I'm just gonna echo Kim's sentiment. Like, thank you guys for joining us. Like, we started this. I mean, we planned this months before we started. We started planning it like 3 or so months before we actually launched it. And to see that so many of you are actually interested in this little project we had, we didn't know how far this was gonna go. How many of you would actually want to join in. So yeah, I mean, again, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna go ahead and end this. But again, yeah, thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night, everyone.
You're welcome. Renee,
Around my area, it's Tuesday and it's the afternoon, so I'm kind of all fine with time. But if you guys need to hop off to get some rest or anything, that's fine by me. I just love to be included with some things like this, so thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Good night, guys. Thanks for being here.
Have a good day and good night. Bye.
99. Bye.
Bye.